the New York Giants, and today it begins. Eli Manning, his first NFL start. The top pick in this past year's draft takes on the Atlanta Falcons, rolling at 7-2.
Play fast. Play fast. Don't worry about mistakes. Just play hard, play fast. Everything's gonna work out, all right? Come on, we gotta win. Win on three, baby. 1, 2, 3.
And now welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. Eli Manning doing the cheerleading in the middle of that huddle. This is a big day for Eli Manning. His dad Archie is here. His brother Peyton has already had a huge day for the Indianapolis Colts. I'm with Troy Aikman and Cris Collinsworth. And Troy, you're first up, man. Who else should we have sitting here than a guy who was a starter as a rookie in the NFL? What's his week been like, and what's he thinking right now?
Well, it's been an extremely hectic and busy week for him. There's no question about it, Joe. But he's handled it in typical Eli Manning fashion, just taking it all in stride. And according to coaches, he had an excellent week of practice. And when you talk to Eli Manning about what he has to do in this game, he said two things. One, make good, quick decisions. And then two, get the ball out of his hands. Remember, this is a team that's given up 24 sacks in the last 4 ball games. And Cris, I don't know exactly how he's going to play in this game today, but I believe that he's as well prepared as any rookie that I've seen to go out and give himself a chance to be successful.
Well, I hope he has his track shoes on today, because they're going to be coming after that young man. The Atlanta Falcons, if they can do anything, it is rush the passer, and Patrick Kearney and Rod Coleman, 2 excellent guys in getting after the quarterback. And on the offensive side, the Atlanta Falcons are really a running team, and they are led by Mr. Everything, Michael Vick, who can beat you in so many different ways. And I just get the feeling I'm not so sure Michael Vick likes getting second billing out here this afternoon.
Well, guys, Jim Mora has done a terrific job as head coach of these Atlanta Falcons, has them rolling at 7-2 on top in their division, and he's standing by with Pam Oliver.
Yes, he is. Are people amazed with the Atlanta Falcons in 7-2? Jim, how do you think people most underestimate your team?
Well, we just like flying under the radar, and I think we're just a good team. We said it before, our best player is our team. And I know everyone focuses on Michael Vick, but we kind of feel like we play well as a team, and we're hanging our hat on that.
This week, all the talk about Eli Manning. How do you hope to absolutely destroy his debut?
Well, that's a great descriptive word. I love that. We're just going to try to keep him off balance. We've got to do what we do. If we get caught up in the hype of blitzing him all the time, then we'll get out of our game. So we got to play as well as we can play and hope we can confuse him a little bit.
Appreciate your time, Coach.
All right.
Thank you. Back up to Joe.
All right, Pam, thanks. And thanks to Jim Mora. These guys really enjoy playing for Jim Mora, his first crack at being a head coach in the NFL. To check on how your fantasy team is doing, text message 63504 on your singular wireless phone, or log on to foxsports.com. We are glad you are with us, and we will get the early look at Eli Manning. And for all the days to make his NFL debut as a starter, I would say weather-wise here in the second half of the month of November, this is about as good as it can get. I mean, there's really, the winds are calm. Usually they're whipping around this stadium. The temperature's not bad. And we'll see how he does as the Giants will start with a football.
I don't think you could ask for better weather, Joe. I don't think there's any question about that, particularly for Eli Manning. There's very little wind in the stadium, and typically Giant Stadium's a very difficult place to throw the football.
Line drive kick by Feely is taken on 2 bounces by Willie Ponder, who's had a good year returning kicks. And he picks his way out across the 25. And, oh, by the way, Eli Manning gets that first start, and this crowd goes crazy. He's also asked to keep the Giants right in the middle of their chase for a playoff spot.
But if he's going to have a good day today, it is going to have to be Tiki Barber that keeps some of the pass rushers off of him, because if they get in a situation where they have to throw, it's going to be very difficult against this Atlanta pass rush.
And Barber gets it to start, bounces it outside. Big run, Tiki Barber down the sideline and just shy of midfield. Knocked out by Scott after a gain of 23.
You know, and talking with Tom Coughlin yesterday, asking him, how are you going to call plays? How are you going to approach this thing from an offensive standpoint with Eli Manning making his first start? He said the first thing we're going to do is we're going to run Tiki Barber on the first play of the game. And then beyond that, we're going to just call plays as if a veteran was underneath center. They keep running the ball like this, they're going to be calling a lot more running plays.
What did he say after that? You're on your own, son.
He's actually had more time in this offense than Kurt Warner did. Now dealing with a live pass rush. He hands to Barber running right. Closing down on the play is Brady Smith. No gain.
You know, one of the things you always try to watch when you're watching a young quarterback, a rookie making his first start, how is he going to handle pressure? That's something that we're going to keep an eye on as this game progresses. Does he lose his composure? Does he get back up? Does he stay in the pocket and make the throws when the throws are there? I know in talking with Eli Manning, he says, I gave the coaches a list of 10 plays that I feel comfortable with regardless of what coverages they give me, and I know I can get the ball out and complete passes.
His first throw of the day. Started to pull it back and then flipped it in the direction of Marcellus Rivers, who was covered, and that'll bring up 3rd and 10.
Well, that one looked a little nervous right there, and I guess he should be. $20 million signing bonus, the hopes of this franchise riding on his back. And Kurt Warner, let's face it, at the beginning of the season, you could have asked any Giant fan if they would have taken a 5-4 record at this point in the season based on what we saw in preseason. I think universally they would have all said yes.
On 3rd and 10, Manning goes down. Another sack against this offensive line for the Giants. The first guy to get there was Kearney, a loss of 4. And that means that this offensive line has given up 41 sacks now, the most in the NFL.
And really what happened here is anytime the Giants have been in 3rd and long situations, you have no choice as a quarterback but to hold the ball and allow your receivers to work down the field. As you go back over the last couple of weeks, even with Kurt Warner, that was when he got in trouble also.
Eagles gets rid of it with Rawson waiting deep. And a penalty flag comes in at the end of the play. They are going to mark the ball at the moment at the 16-yard line, but we'll check the call. Our referee today is Jeff Triplett.
There is no foul for illegal blocking the back by the kicking team since the kick was already away. 1st and 10.
So now we look at Michael Vick, and we will take our focus for the moment, and it'll be a short while off Eli Manning. And we look at Michael Vick, and they have not asked Vick to do much with his arm in a lot of their victories. This past week, Atlanta beat Tampa Bay. 3 of their 4 times that Vick has completed 10 or fewer passes, the Falcons have won. And they've done it predominantly with an outstanding run combination of Warwick Dunn and T.J. Duckett. Vick is flushed, and this is what he does best. Michael Vick is out of bounds after a gain of 7. Carlos Emmons was there to force him out. This offense is still evolving, but a big change, guys, from a year ago is how this offensive line is playing under the direction of Alex Gibbs.
I think that is the biggest change that I've seen on tape. Essentially the same guys, but with Alex Gibbs now coaching that bunch, you can just see how much more physical, how much more prepared they are, and it has been a stark difference.
2nd down and 3. Vick hands. That's done. And Dunn picked up a couple. So just short of 1st down yardage. And we look at the defense for the Giants. If you are without Keith Washington and Michael Strahan, you've got to somehow try and manufacture a pass rush. And that's what the Giants are having to do as Legree and Umanura start at the defensive end spots.
Yeah, and then in addition to that, Joe, they're without Jabril Wilson, who's probably been the defensive MVP for this team, and so they're working Terry Cousin, normally a corner. He'll be playing in the safety position this afternoon.
3rd down and 1. Fake toss. Vick stands in and fires. The pass complete to White, and that's good for an Atlanta 1st down.
Just what makes it so difficult to play against Michael Vick. You essentially are in a short yardage situation. You fake the toss, and you really have no choice as a defense but to flow with the play as it's going that way. And then you get perhaps the greatest athlete that has ever played the quarterback position coming out on a naked bootleg the other way. There's just no way to cover everything if Mike Vick is throwing the ball effectively.
On first down, a blitz coming. Bryson chases Vick out of the pocket. Michael Vick gets into Giants territory. They're going to mark him at the 44, a run of 20 yards. And for Michael Vick, who is the team leader in rushing yardage, he adds 20 more.
Yeah, and watch Justin Griffith, number 33. He normally plays fullback. He was the tailback in the one-back set. He gets out there and he's leading the way along with the rest of the offensive linemen. A designed run, and they will call these things. Sometimes they'll give him a run-pass option. That time it was run all the way.
How about poor Nick Bryson? He thought he had a sack, and he didn't even get close.
Vick, why not? Right up the heart of this defense, and Vick slides forward. They're going to mark him at the 20.
Troy, anytime you see Michael Vick on tape, you notice one thing right away, and that is he's not a quarterback that's going to go 1, 2, 3 looking at receivers. He's going to go 1, maybe 2, and the second or third option is to run. And what a second or third option it is. It's just remarkable when he's in the open field watching people trying to catch up, and they just can't get there.
Looks like he's got diamonds on the soles of those shoes. On first down, they hand it Dunn. And Warwick Dunn picked up 2 over the left side.
And so many times when you're talking about the Atlanta Falcons offensively and their ability to run the football, a lot of people want to dismiss the running yards that Michael Vick accumulates, but that's very much a part of what this offense is. Talking with Greg Knapp before the game, and he said we are not trying to limit Michael Vick from getting outside the pocket and running with the football. It's so much a part of what we do. It's so much a part of what allows Michael Vick to be the player that he is.
3 carries, 51 yards for Vick on this possession. 2nd and 8. Vick flips it to Dunn out of the backfield, and Warwick Dunn cuts it back. And he is brought down just shy of first down yardage.
And I think that is what they've been looking for out of Michael Vick. In the West Coast offense, you drop back, you hit that 5th step, you look for the slant or something coming across the middle. If it's not there, dump it out in the flat. There's no question that he is evolving as a quarterback. And he admitted to us last night he's growing within this system. That was a fine example of that growth.
It's also fair to say that this West Coast offense is far different from a lot of the other versions that are going on around the National Football League.
This is the Michael Vick Coast offense.
Vick will keep it and pick up a first down. The other half of that 2-back tandem for the Falcons, T.J. Duckett, was in there. This DVD offense of Duckett, Vick, and Dunn, and it was Vick keeping it for a first down. It's 1st and goal starting at the 9. Dunn back in. Trying to make it 9-10. Vick out to his left, and now just throws it away. Well outside the pocket, got it beyond the line of scrimmage. No intentional grounding. 2nd and goal.
Almost looked like that run that they had in last week where they were just going to go with basically the quarterback sweep to the outside. And that time Michael looked out there and saw a few of the big fellas and said, I think I'll just throw this one in the bleachers. And that is a brand new look New York Giants defense. About 5 or 6 guys missing from their starting lineup.
One big fella he can look to that has the same kind of uniform on that he has is Crumpler, who's been their top receiver, is Warwick Dunn. Doesn't get much over the right side. They'll mark him at about the 6, and it's 3rd and goal. Bryson on the stop, and we'll see how the Falcons want to play it with 3rd down and goal to go. We welcome a new audience. This is the debut as an NFL starting quarterback for Eli Manning. The Giants got 1 first down, then eventually had to punt, and the Falcons have come back down the field, carried there by the legs of Michael Vick. It's 3rd and goal. Vick fires, and the pass is caught for the touchdown. And there is that tremendous tight end, Alge Crumpler.
Yeah, and Alge Crumpler, he's really become the go-to guy for Michael Vick. Last week, he had his best game of his career, 118 yards receiving. And whenever Michael Vick is looking for somebody to get him off the hook, number 83, Alge Crumpler, is that guy. You see, he's working against Will Allen. Typically, you'd like to see a safety on him, someone that can bang on him a little bit, because Alge Crumpler is a big physical guy, and he's going to beat most corners.
Fourth touchdown catch of the season for Crumpler, who is a free agent to be, and he is going to cash in.
It's a great play by Alge Crumpler, but let's tell it like it is. Michael Vick was simply sensational that drive. That is the Michael Vick that they are dreaming about in Atlanta. Could he continue to play at that level, both throwing the football, reading the defenses, running when necessary? It simply was a spectacular drive by Michael Vick.
Well, I'm glad, Troy, one of us is telling it like it is, aren't you?
Well, yeah.
Somebody say that before?
So there you go, Jim Mora and this Atlanta offense. We had a chance to sit down and talk with Jim Mora, and he went out of his way to talk about the character of this team. He's a guy that's been in charge of a defense. He spent 5 years as a defensive coordinator out in San Francisco, and the guy that he really pointed to was Michael Vick. He said people forget that he's only 24 years old, and this offense is really just scratching the surface. It's going to continue to evolve, and when you've got the athlete that Michael Vick is right in the center of it all, boy, the options are unlimited for this Falcons attack.
Joe, he's only making his 33rd NFL start today. People forget that because it's his 4th season, but he's still a young quarterback in this league.
Willie Ponder on the return, and Ponder gets to the 20. That's it. Michael Jenkins on the stop. So Eli Manning will get a second shot at this Atlanta defense. He has not completed a pass. He was 0 for 2 in that first possession, and down 7-0 with 6:56 to go in this first quarter. Second possession for the Giants.
I know in their last 2 games that they've lost, both the Chicago Bears and Arizona Cardinals, the Giants jumped out on the opponent. Maybe getting down behind early in this game, maybe they'll be able to change their fortunes.
On first down, the pass is complete, and the ball pops out. It's picked up by Atlanta, back the other way. It's D'Angelo Hall. Hall still on his feet, and out of bounds inside the 20. Tiki Barber was there to force him out, and it's a turnover for the Giants. We welcome a new crowd in, and we may get a challenge here as Hilliard made the catch, had about 9 yards, and then came down. The ball popped out.
He's down because the elbow is down. They'll challenge this. The Giants will get the football back.
Yeah, the knee was down as well before the ball came out.
The elbow is the same thing as a knee. It just doesn't matter, and clearly the Giants are going to get this football back, and a break they desperately needed.
Well, so far they haven't thrown the flag. And now Coughlin reaches into his pocket. You got to challenge it. And I think one thing he may be arguing here is, well, he still hasn't challenged it. Now he does. I think what he was arguing was, why do I have to make and waste a challenge when that play was so clear to see with the naked eye? And then eventually he says, well, all right, if I have to throw the flag, here it is.
Yeah, it's a pointless argument on Coach Tom Coughlin's part, because that's not what was ruled on the field. So right or wrong, if he wants to reverse this
challenge the ruling on the field of a fumble. Timeout.
So we welcome you back to Giants Stadium. We understand we have had some video problems, so we apologize for that. Working on those, and Jeff Triplett will make the announcement.
Doing the play. The runner was touched and went down, hit his elbow down with possession of the football at the 28-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 2 at the 28. New York Giants are not charged a timeout.
You know, I've never seen 70,000 people reaching for a flag like I did when the Atlanta Falcons were going to the line of scrimmage, and it looked like Tom may not challenge that thing. You could see everybody in the crowd just go crazy screaming, throw the flag.
So it's 2nd down and 2. And that's an enormous swing when you've got a guy like Eli Manning. That potential turnover could have turned into another score, and you've got Manning out there fighting already an uphill battle against a very good Atlanta defense going into that big of a hole. Good luck. It's 2nd down and 2. Handoff is to Barber, and he's got a 1st down. Let's go down to the field and check in with Pam Oliver.
Hey, Joe, imagine you're a father and you wake up to a day where 2 of your sons will start at quarterback in the NFL. That's the case, of course, for Archie Manning. He was huddled around a television set earlier today at the Giants' offices and got to watch Peyton destroy the Chicago Bears. Now he's up in the stands sweating through Eli's debut. Archie described Eli to me earlier as a delightful child, he said. As a father, he's proud, but as a football player, he understands how hard the job is.
All right, Pam, thanks. As out of the shotgun, Manning gets it, fires for Shockey, and the ball comes out, and now they're going to call incomplete pass. The ball was being bobbled by Shockey, and as he came down, suffered the hit. Matt Stewart, the ball came out, it's incomplete.
And these are the plays that the players just have to make around Eli Manning. He puts this ball in a great spot, and Jeremy Shockey has to be able to maintain control of this ball and make the reception. And we knew coming in that Eli Manning was going to try to get the ball into his hands, but Jeremy Shockey fails to make the catch there. Of course, we had the potential fumble earlier. These players have to step up around Eli.
2nd down and 10, and a toss to Barber. Tiki Barber stays on his feet. He's having a fantastic year. More about that when we get it back. Right now, out to JB for a game break.
Hey, Joe Buck, what Peyton Manning's father saw earlier was Peyton continue his blistering pace. 4 touchdowns on a day, one of them there to Reggie Wayne. He actually caught 2 on a day. Peyton has 35 touchdowns on the season. Big win over Chicago. Back to Joe Buck.
All right, JB, thanks. On a pace for 56 touchdown throws this season. 3rd down and 6. Trying to drop it off on a screen, and it's incomplete for Barber.
You know, Troy, one of the things that I believe is so hard for a young quarterback is not when people are blitzing you, because then you essentially get those one-on-one single routes on the outside. But when the Giants are constantly in 3rd and long situations and you have to face those dime defenses and 6 defensive backs and all the exotic zone blitzes that you see in this league, to me, that's when it's much tougher.
Well, and he had a chance right there, Chris, with Tiki Barber. He just rushed the throw. He was a little hot on the pass, and that's why it wasn't completed.
Good punt by Fiegels. Back from inside the 10 as Rawson makes a move and then has nowhere to go after getting it across the 15. 54-yard punt. They'll mark it just shy of the 17. The Falcons have the ball in a 7-point lead. The debut of Eli Manning, but right now the excitement has been provided by the Atlanta offense and by the legs of Michael Vick. He has 53 rushing yards already, and the Falcons are 10-1 since Vick has been in Atlanta, when Michael has rushed for 50 or more yards. Starting at their own 17. Handoff is to Dunn. And Warwick Dunn crosses the 25 down at the 26, a gain of 9, and we look back. First possession for the Giants. They got a quick 1st down on a handoff to Tiki Barber, and that was it. Good work by the defense of the Atlanta Falcons on the Giants offense, and then the legs of Vick took over, and eventually he found his big target of Algie Crumpler on the touchdown throw. For Crumpler, his 4th touchdown of the season. Vick will tell you he has not done a good enough job of getting the ball into the hands of Peerless Price. As he flips it for Peerless Price, and the pass incomplete. Downfield, it was Peterson defending for the Giants.
Yeah, and Peerless Price was grabbing on Will Peterson's jersey as they were going down the field for the ball, and that's what Peterson was pointing out to the official, trying to get the pass interference call. Watch right there. He's got his right arm trying to pull him down in order to get an advantage to make that catch. And last week, Will Peterson had some critical pass interference calls against him that set up touchdowns in that game last weekend.
3rd down and 1. Quick throw. The pass is caught but dropped short is Des White, and it was Peterson who came up and made the quick hit.
And I tell you what, Joe, Will Peterson was sitting on that route. He was anticipating the quick throw to Des White, and if Vick doesn't put that ball on his back shoulder, it may be going the other way. You see the jump on him that he gets on it right there. No way Des White had a chance to catch that ball and run anywhere.
It was probably an audible for Mike Vick seeing the off coverage, but I think the Giants picked up on that audible and adjusted themselves.
Chris Moore will punt. Falcons very good this year at covering punts, and it's a high hanger with Jones waiting deep, and he muffs it. Able to get back on top of it, and they will mark the ball at the 24. So Jones is able to get back on top of the football. The Giants get it back down 7. Eli Manning back to work. Eli Manning and this Giants offense trying to get on a roll. Right now the Giants come in with a record of 5-4, right in the middle of the playoff push in the NFC. Play action. Manning swings it out to Rivers, and Marcellus Rivers has a Giants first down.
Well, Eli Manning, even though he's a rookie, he's a pretty savvy guy. You heard him at the line of scrimmage that time saying opposite, opposite, which basically meant that he could have taken that bootleg either way. He saw the defense adjust to the strong side. He comes out to the weak side with the bootleg and hits a big play.
So Rivers, who has moved up on the depth chart ahead of Visanti Shenko. Gets the first down, and now the Giants hand to Barber. Guys, you can't say this offensive line is horrible, and everybody wants to say the Giants offensive line is horrible. How can it be with the kind of yards that Tiki Barber is piling up? A lot of people point to Kurt Warner holding on to the ball too long. You look at this group that's in charge now of protecting the franchise quarterback Eli Manning, and the guy on the end of that list. They don't need Eli Manning to play like Peyton Manning. They take Ben Roethlisberger or even Craig Krenzel, the start he got off to. And they don't even need Shockey to play like he played 2 years ago. They take Jason Witten type production, but he's got to step up for the rookie quarterback. This pass behind Toomer, and he can't hang on to it. And we'll look at the defense for the Atlanta Falcons, and one thing they can do that a lot of teams can't, Troy, is get pressure on the quarterback with a 4-man rush.
Yeah, and that's the best thing you could hope for as a defensive unit. When you only have to rush 4 guys, your defensive line, and still have the ability to put pressure on the quarterback, it gives you the versatility of being able to do a lot of different things with that secondary.
And these Giants receivers need to start making some plays for Eli. He's got enough on his shoulders. They have to do their part.
3rd down and 6. Blitz coming. Manning fires, and it's dropped again through the hands of Toomer. Toomer has a couple. Shockey has one. Missed opportunities for the Giants. And that's 4 Giants drops already in this first quarter.
Well, and they talked all week long about how they were going to do things and elevate their play to help Eli. Watch what he has to do. He's going to come up. He's pointing out the middle linebacker. And by doing that, it sets the protection for the entire group. Now he comes back, makes a good throw to Amani Toomer, and Amani Toomer drops his second pass.
Allen Rossum on the run. Hops out of bounds near the 25. A minute 55 remaining in this first quarter. 7-0. The Falcons on top. Manning trying to do his part. He needs some help. The tender Tom Coughlin talking to Amani Toomer, trying to pump him up after a couple of drops on that Last possession as Vick hands it on an end around, and brought down as Des White. Will Allen from his corner spot up to make the stop. Humidity with pressure and a loss of 2.
Yeah, and O.C. Humidity, who's now getting to start because of the injury to Michael Strahan, defensive end 72. He plays it beautifully. He stays there at home and turns it back inside and then gets a little bit of help. And O.C. Humidity, even when he was not getting the starts and was getting very limited playing time, he's a guy who had a knack to make plays. He's coming off a sack in each of the last 2 games and is playing well again here early in this game.
Second down and 12. This time it's Duckett. Bryson couldn't bring him down, and T.J. Duckett is brought down right at the first down marker. It depends on the spot. We'll take a game break and say hi again to JB.
And hello again to you, Joe Buck. And the Eagles going for their 6th straight win against Washington. Play action here. Donovan McNabb hooking up with Chad Lewis. Eagles out in front of the skin, 7-3. That in the second quarter. Back to our guy, Joe Buck.
All right, JB, thanks. The tight ends have had such an impact on that Eagles offense. They gave Duckett enough forward progress for a first down for Atlanta. You look at the NFC East, and it's Philadelphia running away at the moment. The Giants, though, that 5-4 record these days in the NFC puts you right in the middle of the playoff race.
Yeah, 3rd best. And so that's the reason, at least in my mind, it was a little bit strange to make a quarterback switch when you were 3rd in the conference.
Vick rolls out. Penalty flag on the play. Forced out by Emmons is Vick after he picked up 4. And again, there's a marker down. So we'll get the call from Jeff Triplett.
Holding 83 the offense. That's a 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Yeah, Algie Crumpler, the tight end. Obvious call here. I mean, he's got him on the back of the jersey, and that's what the official sees. Anytime you got your hands on the back of a defender, you're going to get called for the hold.
You know, Troy, the Falcons really have gotten away from what they do so well here. Every time they line up and just run off tackle against this decimated Giants defense, they hit them for big yardage. They just haven't stayed focused on that.
First down and 20. T.J. Duckett. Nothing. A minimal gain of 1.5 yards. Kevin Lewis, the middle linebacker, there for the stop, and that'll do it for the first quarter here at the Meadowlands. It's 7-0. The Falcons with the football and the lead. The NFL on Fox will continue after these words. Amani Toomer heard from Tom Coughlin, now on the phone as the Atlanta Falcons have the football. Eli standing and watching as we begin the second quarter. Second down and 18. The Falcons up 7. Vick, plenty of time. Robbins chasing him. Humidity now chasing him, and Michael Vick will get out of bounds. He gets hit at the end of the play. No flag. Carlos Emmons was over there, and a gain of 9 to bring up third down.
I'll tell you, that was close at the end of that play. You couldn't really see it happen on the opposite end of the field. But Michael Vick can escape like no other. I mean, this guy and these poor defensive linemen trying to catch him, it's almost comical at times. I'll tell you, there are a lot of times where that would be called in the National Football League on Carlos Emmons just as he was stepping out of bounds.
Third down and 9. Pass is dumped off. This is the fullback Griffith. The race to the first down marker, and he makes it. Justin Griffith gets his 17th catch of the season. And that 17th catch is good for 14 yards and a first down.
And that was a heck of a first down because of the penalty, moving back and then being able to string along a few plays to pick up this first down. That's an area for this team offensively that they've had problems. They're not very good on converting third downs, but when you're able to do that, as we just witnessed, you keep drives alive, and ultimately those turned into points.
Justin Griffith is a good weak side receiver. Really opens up a new element for Mike Vick in this passing game.
Play action from Vick. Fires, and the pass is caught by Crumpler. Algie Crumpler is down inside the 30, a pickup of 21.
Boy, it's so interesting to watch Mike Vick throw the football. Have you seen a guy that just so effortlessly flicks the football? I mean, this pass ends up being about 25, 30 yards down the field, and he literally just sort of flicks it.
I'll tell you what, I mean, all left-handed quarterbacks that I've ever seen, where you're talking about Steve Young, Kenny Stabler, Michael Vick, they're all long, elongated strides, elongated throwing motions. But you're right, he makes throwing the football look absolutely effortless, particularly when he's throwing the deep ball about 65 yards down the field.
On first down, they hand it Dunn. Warwick Dunn with a nice move as he got away from Nick Bryson and turns a loss into a gain of 2. Thursday, spend your Thanksgiving with us. It's an NFL tradition on Fox. The Chicago Bears head to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. It all starts at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific with a pregame show as Jerry Jones goes 10 yards with TB.
Uh-oh.
Plus, catch a special halftime performance from Destiny's Child, only on Fox this Thursday, Thanksgiving.
We're giving away the gobbler again?
We are. I was thinking about that today. It's coming back.
Yeah. Maybe we give away Emmett's again since he stuffed it in the closet.
Second down and 8. Vick.
Oh, come on.
Unbelievable. Buying time and turning the play into a positive. He ends up getting 2 yards after running about 25 in the backfield.
Well, Joe, I mean, if you watch this, the Giants defensively did everything that you would want them to do. They collapsed the pocket around him. They got people converging on him. But because of his athleticism and quickness, he's still able to escape that and get outside on the edge and turn it into a positive game.
The only thing you would say is he had a chance to dump that football off right at the end and may have gotten a touchdown pass out of it.
You know, the one thing about it is Michael Vick, as the quarterback, he has the ball in his hands on every single snap. And so he has the ability to make those plays every single time he has the ball.
Third down and 6. That is on a laser line to Des White for another Atlanta first down. This is the first time, Chris, that Michael Vick has played an NFL game against the Giants and the Jets on the big stage of New York, and so far his first half has been terrific.
Yeah, and he looked like he was ready for Broadway to me. And the interesting thing is I think this Giants defensive line is getting worn down after they chased him around on that prior play. They got very little pass rush to speak of on that one. You can just see they're getting fatigued.
T.J. Duckett now the tailback on 1st and goal. 10th play of the drive, and Duckett gets it. He gets to the 5.
Yeah, and T.J. Duckett, of course, a first-round pick a few years ago, and this is where he's been excelling for this team this year. They want to get him in on goal line situations. They want him playing short yardage situations, and then also they call him their 4-minute back, meaning in the 4th quarter when they're trying to run out the clock and put away a game, put T.J. Duckett in there. He's a big physical guy, 250 pounds. He's got Justin Griffith as his fullback. He outweighs his fullback right now by 20 pounds.
Penalty flags and whistles. This will cost Atlanta 5 yards.
Prior to the snap, false start, 63 of the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
They get Roberto Garza, the left guard.
And one of the things that Jim Mora is so conscious of with this Atlanta Falcons offense is trying to preserve Warwick Dunn a little bit. He has been a sensational back in the month of December and late in the season, and he really wants to see him fresh by the time these playoffs come around, which it looks like they are going to for the Atlanta Falcons.
Second down and goal. Vick on the move. Michael Vick head first down to the 1.
You know, it's so hard when you get down here in the red zone area and you've got your defensive backs covering guys going into the end zone. Typically then your linebackers, they'll go across the goal line. They'll defend those areas so no passes can be thrown underneath. But then when you got Michael Vick and everybody's running around trying to cover somebody, it's extremely difficult to bring him down in space, as we've already seen. What a great weapon he provides, especially when you get down near the goal line.
And you want to contain him, but when you contain him, that leaves only 2 guys inside to try and contain him when he runs up the middle.
3rd down and goal. Play action. It's Crumpler. Touchdown. His 2nd of the day, and he was left all alone running through the back of the end zone.
And I'm not real sure why Carlos Emmons, who is one of the best strong side linebackers at covering tight ends, Carlos Emmons is a big, strong, physical guy. Why he's not locked up on Algie Crumpler every single play is beyond me. When you get down here, I mean, so far Crumpler is the only guy that's caught the ball with any consistency all season long.
Just wonder if some of these defensive injuries are starting to catch up with them. They've lost 2 safeties already this season, 2 defensive ends. It's just getting to be a very difficult time now for Tim Lewis in this defense.
And speaking of difficult, it gets even more so for Eli Manning. He and the Giants down 14 with 9:09 left in this first half. Algie Crumpler is just getting better and better and better. In his 4th year out of North Carolina, over 1,100 yards the last 2 years. That's the 3rd best total across the NFL among tight ends. As I mentioned earlier, he'll be a free agent at the end of the year, and he is priority number 1. You would think for the Falcons to sign him and get him back in an Atlanta uniform. Line drive kick is going to go out of the end zone, and the Giants and Eli Manning will start with it at their 20. Crumpler, first time in his NFL career he's had more than 1 touchdown in a game. He has 2 today, and all Tom Coughlin can do is shake his head. This is the first matchup during a stretch where this Giants offense will be matched up against one good defense after another. Philadelphia's coming up, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Washington, the number 2 overall defense in the NFL. Manning getting his first start, throws behind Shockey, who can't make the connection. Before we comment on Eli Manning and him getting the start today, let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Well, Joe, how ironic. Eli Manning's the new guy, but it's the veteran Amani Toomer who's needing some encouragement. Tom Coughlin, as you noted, walked over to Toomer, said a few words to him. He was followed by the offensive coordinator, John Huffnagel, who went over to Toomer and Shockey, waved some photos at him before walking away in disgust. But what was interesting was watching Eli. He sort of pounded his chest to those guys as if to take responsibility for inaccurate passes, but clearly those were just drops.
2nd down and 10. Handoff is to Tiki Barber. And Barber does all he can, gets it up just shy of the 25-yard line. Cris, you talked about it, at least touched on it the last possession. You found it at least interesting that this would be the time that the Giants would go to Eli Manning.
Yeah, especially when you take a look around at what other first-time starting rookies have done in the National Football League, and you can go right down the list. Michael Vick, my buddy here, Troy Aikman, Peyton Manning, Terry Bradshaw, John Elway. It is tough to do anything in your first start, and I just thought the Giants were still right in the mix.
4-man rush. Pass is complete to Ike Hilliard. And people talk about the schedule and the matchups, and they don't get any easier. Not only do you have the Falcons today, but you have the Eagles next Sunday. The Ravens on December 12th. Ravens took care of Dallas today, as the Steelers did, and they're coming up December 18th. And the one team that's not on the list, the Redskins, who are number 2 overall.
But one thing we know, Joe, is there are no easy defensive teams in the National Football League. He's playing because this team had lost 3 of their last 4 and needed offensive production.
Manning fires. Shockey is held. There are 2 different fouls on this play. We know the one at the back end of the play is on Atlanta. We'll check the first one. But there are 2 different penalties on this play.
And the Falcons came into this game wanting Brian Scott to match up against Jeremy Shockey. Had some success against him in last year's meeting. Brian Scott came into the league as a corner, so he's got cover skills, but he's got the physicalness of a safety, which is where he's now playing That's going to be a matchup worth watching as we progress, and that's a battle that Jeremy Shockey is going to have to win on a consistent basis.
There are 3 fouls on the play.
Clear your throat.
There are 3 fouls on the play. Illegal formation, number 80 of the offense.
Wow.
Holding, number 24 of the defense. Pass interference, number 24 of the defense. Those penalties by rule offset. Replay first down.
Yeah, you look at what the Giants are doing right now. Of course, Pam talked about the drops with Amani Toomer. One of those would have been a pretty good catch. And now you come out and your veteran guys just aren't getting it done for you. And that's when you've got a young player like Eli Manning, those guys have got to be able to step up. It's not that difficult to get at least lined up to where you're in a legal formation.
You can see Coughlin saying, who's it on? For the Giants, it was on Shockey. Tiki Barber trying to wait for a lane to open up, and he ends up picking up 1. I think the other side of the argument, and Troy, I'll direct it at you. Kurt Warner, yeah, he wasn't playing so poorly that you could make a strong case that he should be yanked right out of the lineup. But at the same time, this offense wasn't getting any better. They're looking for a spark. They're looking for something to get them on track where they can make something happen offensively, and that was not happening with Kurt Warner.
And that's why they made the change, Joe. They would have made it whether it was Eli Manning as the backup or any number of other guys at the backup quarterback position, because they needed more productivity. They have not been able to get the ball down the field.
Penalty flag on the play as the pass is complete to Hilliard. There's a corner blitz on that last play, and the early indication is it's against Atlanta.
You know, the one thing, though, that I have to say, and I went back.
Outside defense, number 21. That's a 5-yard penalty. It'll still be second down.
Trying to come on the blitz and just came a little too soon. I went back and watched the game last week against Arizona, and if you're really a nasty person, maybe you could have pinned 3 of those sacks on Kurt Warner, but in reality, I only saw one that I thought was truly his fault, holding the ball too long. Jeremy Shockey missed a block. Offensive lineman missed a block. They had a missed assignment. So to say it was all on Kurt Warner, to me, that's a stretch.
But they're not going to change out the center. I mean, they're not. That's what they do, Chris. They change quarterbacks in this league.
Handoff is to Barber. I mean, he is knocked down just shy of the first down.
I would agree with you that, you know, this certainly should not be laid at the hands of Kurt Warner and saying that he's not played well. Personally, I think he's played very well within a very difficult offense to have success in as a quarterback. But when you've lost 3 of 4 games, and 3 of those losses are to the Cardinals, Lions, and Bears, 2 of which were at home, you've got to start addressing your football team, saying, what do we need to do in order to get production? The decision was made that Eli Manning would be the guy that would provide that.
Those are 3 pretty good defenses, though. When you step back, they don't have much on offense, but they are pretty good defenses.
On 3rd down and 1, it's Barber met in the backfield and dropped. And a very good defense defending the run. The Atlanta Falcons, a loss of 3. Brady Smith and Corey Hall were the first 2 to get there.
Remind you a little bit of the play that the Falcons made last week after what looked like a game-ending play where they got a tackle behind the line of scrimmage, picked up the ball, ran it in for a touchdown. The officials called it back the other way, and all the Falcons did was what they've been doing all season long, come right back the next play and get them behind the line of scrimmage again.
Eagles almost missed that one off the side of his foot, but it takes a good Giants bounce all the way down inside the 10. Tom Coughlin said, they keep asking me, do you expect any more changes? He said, any more changes? If you look at my depth chart, this is all I got. 14-0 Atlanta. There was a penalty flag thrown at the end of that last play, the punt.
On a previous play, illegal touching, number 85 of the kicking team went out of bounds and came back in and first touched the kick. That's a 5-yard penalty. Replay, 4th down.
So David Tyree, who has really blossomed into a very good special teams player, as you could see on that replay, didn't need to even touch the ball, and there were 2 teammates right next to him.
That's exactly right, Joe. You don't even need to touch the ball. You just have to be smarter than that. And David Tyree is probably one of their better special teams players. You have to know you can't be the first to touch it.
So we'll see what kind of a difference it makes. The ball would have been at the 9. Now a penalty flag comes in at the end of the return. And this one appears to be against the Atlanta Falcons as Rossum took the punt. returned it 9 yards, and this will be marched back toward the Atlanta end zone.
Well, and you're seeing Jeff Feagles, the punter for the Giants. He's angling his punts, trying to keep it away from Allen Rossum. He was able to do that on the first punt. This time Allen Rossum got over and was able to make the return, but Feagles wants to keep it out of his hands. He's one of the best, if not the best, punt return man in the National Football League.
During the return, holding number 23, the return team. That's a 10-yard penalty. First down, timeout.
So we will take a timeout. A reaction by Tom Coughlin. The ball will be marked back just inside the 10. So back where we started. Atlanta has it and a 14-point lead. Well, we'll see if this New York Giants defense can make a play. So far, they haven't figured out how to defend this Atlanta offense with Michael Vick at the controls. They'll start with it at their own 10. 5:05 left in this first half. It's Warwick Dunn. He gets it out to the 13.
You know, one of the things I think I would do if I was defensive coordinator for the New York Giants is what we've seen early in this game is they've played coverage and they've been trying to get pressure on Michael Vick, but they haven't gotten to him, and then he's able to scramble and make some yards. I would try to start bringing more guys than what they can protect and force him to get the ball in the air. Obviously, Michael Vick's strength is not throwing the ball from within the pocket. Make him throw and see if then you can't defense him.
2nd down and 7. Dunn again. Dunn out to just beyond the 15-yard line. 3rd down and about 4.5 coming up for Atlanta.
You know, really an important play in the ball game right here. The Giants defensively desperately need to make a play, get off the field, try and give Eli a little field position to work with here at the end of the half and change this momentum around. Don't forget the Falcons last week gave up a big lead and almost blew that game.
Out of the shotgun, something new for Vick this year. Running it last year, won't get it. Just back to the line of scrimmage, and Carlos Emmons, the former Eagle, up to make the stop for the Giants, and there is that play that New York needed.
That was a really good play by Carlos Emmons. They had linemen out in front, designed run on the part of Atlanta and Michael Vick. You're going to see he's got 4 guys out in front of him, and for Carlos Emmons to handle the blocker there of Des White and still be able to get underneath that and make a play. Really nice job by a good football player.
And the shotgun sounds like a great idea, but so far the Falcons have gotten very little out of it at all.
Moore kicks it off the side of his foot. It takes an Atlanta bounce, and it's taken in by Mark Jones, where he is knocked down at his own 43. Jenkins down to make the stop for Atlanta. Decent field position for the Giants, down 14. And enjoy some football from Giants Stadium, where the Giants will start with their best field position of the afternoon and early evening. So far, 4 possessions, 4 punts. Manning, play action, drops it off. That's the fullback Finn, and Finn has a first down out of bounds at the Atlanta 42. Keith Brooking on the stop and a gain of 15.
And there's no question, Joe, when you go back to what Atlanta was trying to do on their last possession, they were trying to take as much time off the clock and get a first down so that this would not happen. Now you give the ball back to the Giants with plenty of time, just under 3 minutes left in the first half and all 3 timeouts, and now they're able to put together a drive, and they don't have to rush in order to do that, to try to come away with some points here in this first half.
Very conservative play calling here in the first half on the part of the Giants with the rookie Manning. Has time over the middle of the field. Shockey drops another. And that has happened to Eli Manning all day long. You could certainly make the case that the pass wasn't perfect. It was a little behind Shockey, but these guys have to step up and help out the rookie. There's the first drop by Shockey. Toomer had a couple. And now this by Shockey. And instead of a first down, at least at the Atlanta 22, back at the Atlanta 42, and it's 2nd and 10.
Unbelievable.
Blitz coming from the Falcons. And with pressure coming, the pass for Tiki Barber, it was Matt Stewart coming on the blitz, and Manning just able to get rid of it. 3rd and 10 coming.
And really right now what we're seeing out of Eli Manning is he is doing his job better than the guys around him on the field. He senses a very difficult blitz to try and see coming from the backside, knows he has to dump it quickly out to Tiki Barber. On the prior play, they had a slant and go. He saw it wasn't there, came back to the backside, saw Jeremy Shockey, and Shockey drops the ball. This guy has to get some help out here. The other guys on this team are just playing horribly.
3rd down and 10. 4-man rush from Atlanta, trying to set up a screen for Barber. He gets back to the line of scrimmage, may have gained 1, and that'll bring up 4th down. Demario Williams, the rookie, very fast linebacker, made the tackle in the play for the Atlanta Falcons. And it's 4th down for the Giants.
Well, that's a disappointment there for the Giants, considering they had the ball in a perfect position to try to come away with some points, at least a field goal attempt, and they weren't even able to do that.
2-minute warning here at Giants Stadium. We welcome you back. You're watching Fox Sports, broadcasting in 720p, the world's finest high-definition standard in Dolby 5.1. Jeremy Shockey does not have a catch today. He has 3 drops, and while we talk about guys not making the connection with Eli Manning, they have not let Manning do much down the field. When he's had the chances, Toomer and Shockey have dropped potential big completions, but it has been awfully conservative so far for the Giants offensively. Rossum lets it go over his head, and it is down by Maxwell at the 1. Coming up on the Visa halftime report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will have scores and highlights from around the league, and the Fox Sports ticker is up to the second scores and stats. Chris, what do you got?
Yeah, what do you think about Howie's top 10 defensive players today? Did you get a chance to see that? He put out about 75 guys on his top 10. It was one of the beautiful things I've ever seen.
The safety of the distance between the state of New York, the state of California. Bradshaw was all over him, and now Cris gets on top. 1:50 to go each side with 3 timeouts left. Vick fires, and the pass is caught by Crumpler. Algie Crumpler with a first down at the Atlanta 19.
And in some ways, that's kind of the difference right now. Their tight ends catching the ball, and the Giants tight ends dropping the ball.
But how about the confidence of Jim Mora to say, okay, Mike Vick, not supposed to be the greatest passer in the world. Here it is, 1st and goal on the 1-yard line. We're going to let you drop back. Of course, so many things can go wrong back there in that situation. A hold in the end zone's a safety. But Mike Vick in this game is playing about as well, Troy, as I've ever seen him play.
Now the Atlanta Falcons can't get out of the huddle.
Yeah, if you're going to throw the ball down there on the 1-yard line, at least take advantage of it and get into a no huddle and start moving the ball.
And now they have to burn a timeout. That couldn't have been handled more poorly by the Falcons. They're trying to get the ball down the field. They get the completion to Crumpler, can't get another play away, and spend their first timeout. Michael Vick so far has carried 9 times for 85 yards. He has thrown for 95 yards. The 2 touchdown throws to Crumpler. 47 seconds left in the half. Vick over the middle of the field, and Peerless Price gets a rare chance. And now he drops it. We look at the early game headliners for this week 11. Roethlisberger's now 8-0 with a hard-fought win at Cincinnati. Peyton Manning with 4 more touchdowns today.
How do you think Dan Marino's feeling right about now? I mean, he set a standard that a lot of people thought would never be broken with, what, 48 touchdown passes in a season?
Right.
Peyton may get it by week 11.
Took me 3 years to get 48 touchdown passes.
Well, the Atlanta Falcons are confused offensively. They bring Jenkins in late. The play clock is down to 4. Play clock is at 1. They didn't get it away. this is as bad as it can get in the 2-minute drill for the Falcons.
It really is. I mean, they throw it from the 1-yard line, which was really surprising to me, but yet it worked, and they got the completion to Algie Crumpler, and ever since then they've done everything that you're not supposed to do when you're trying to get into a no-huddle offense and score points.
It's like
delay a game offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
But, you know, let's flip it over to the other side. How about the New York Giants? They have the ball backed up on the 1-yard line, all 3 timeouts, and they're thinking, okay, we get a 3-and-out here, call our timeouts, get the ball back inside the 50-yard line, and their defense can't make a stop.
What are you chuckling at? 42 seconds left, second down and 15. Vick slings it, and the pass is caught out across the 35 to the 37 by Des White, a gain of 8.
Let's burn another timeout.
That's been done. Out of timeouts are the Atlanta Falcons, and the ball is at their own 37.
Where to?
I could go for a large order of how come it looks so much bigger in the picture.
Or how about an extra spicy did you bring to antacid?
Not me. I'm going for a total happiness.
We always get a total happiness.
And?
Yeah.
Yes, total happiness just might be a Subway meatball marinara. A giant sandwich with meatballs, melted cheese, and fresh baked bread.
What you got there?
A little something I call total happiness.
Well, you got total happiness on your shirt.
Subway, eat fresh.
Maybe an opportunity now for the Giants. The Falcons 6 for 8 on 3rd down today.
I was surprised they took that timeout. That may have been a time just to get out of here with a 14-0 lead.
That's the Herm Edwards School of Time Management right there.
3rd down and 7. The Jets won today at Cleveland, and Vick is going to be brought down. Humidity.
Well, the Giants might take a timeout right here.
And they will. So now with 23 seconds left, the Giants will take their first timeout, and we'll have a punt coming from the Atlanta Falcons.
Now you see kind of the mush rush out of the New York Giants. I don't know if it's a factor of they're being tired or just trying to keep Michael Vick from scrambling up the middle, because clearly he has been the difference in this first half.
And if the Giants elect to go into a no-huddle situation themselves with 2 timeouts left here before the end of the half, the one thing that's going to benefit Eli Manning is they do have the quarterback coach communication device that they did not have years ago, and that has really helped the development with a lot of these young quarterbacks. Don't forget that the coach can call the play into the quarterback at the line of scrimmage, something that had to be signaled in before or run at the line of scrimmage by the quarterback.
Giants need a good return from Mark Jones. Moore hangs it high, and Jones will watch it go out of bounds. We'll see where they place it. They'll mark it right at that spot just outside the 25-yard line, and 16 seconds remain. And now how daring do you want to get with Eli Manning, even though you still have 2 timeouts left, only 16 seconds on the clock?
And I think it's really a risky proposition when you try to say, okay, can we put together a couple of plays, as we see Coach Huffnagel, the offensive coordinator for the New York Giants, because the last thing you want to have happen, Eli Manning has actually played well here in this first half. You don't want to try to force something in the attempt to get points that turns against him, and he goes into the locker room not feeling good about the way he's played.
Manning fires, and the pass is picked off. That's exactly what happens. Down inside the 30 after the interception is Jason Webster, and now with 6 seconds left, the Atlanta Falcons will bring their field goal unit onto the field and have a chance for 3 more points.
So many times, Joe, in these situations, coaches want to run vertical routes. They feel that it's the best way to get big plays down the field, but there aren't very big seams when you start making those throws. He was late on the throw to Ike Hilliard, and because of that, Jason Webster is able to come up with the interception, and now, after all that Atlanta went through on their last possession, they have a chance to get 3 points here prior to the first half.
After that 18-yard return by Webster, this is a 46-yard field goal try by Feely, and it's no good. Hooked. So for only the 2nd time this season, Feely misses on a field goal try, And it's a 14-0 Atlanta lead with 2 seconds remaining in this first half. Crowd gets on the Giants with 2 seconds left.
You can't do this with your own.
And that kneel down by Eli Manning ends the first half with Atlanta leading on the scoreboard 14-0. The Visa halftime show coming your way. JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy right after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. Crumpler with 2 touchdowns and the Falcons with a 14-point lead.
NFL. Get ready for the game.
Well, even though it's the start of the Eli Manning era, Michael Vick with 100 yards on the ground nearly and 100 in the air.
I'll tell you what, I've been here. I know what it's like. Manning back, sacked by Patrick Kearney. His 9th sack on the year. No score at this point. First possession for the Falcons. Out comes Michael Vick looking left. Algie Crumpler tied in. Touchdown, 4 receptions on the year for him, 7-0. And then Vick looking again out of the eye. Play action. Crumpler again in the corner of the end zone. 14-0 Falcons over the New York Giants.
And that's exactly what Jimmy Johnson was talking about during the pregame show for sure. Hey, Redskins defense doing a nice job against the Eagles. Terrell Owens, no catches. Eagles up by 1. Seahawks with Trent Dilfer at the helm on top 17-7. Chargers looking to stay even with the Denver Broncos leading 13-7. That would, of course, be in the AFC West. Ravens, big victory over the Cowboys. Ravens now 7-3. Vikings get back on the win track. Dante to Nate Burleson, a combination that was working there. Buccaneers with Brian Greasy efficient at the helm.
Buffalo Bills 37-17. Hard to beat the Bills up in Buffalo. Cardinals, wow. Carolina Panthers, the Cardinals come on the road. Bad day for them. 35-10 Carolina wins. And then, of course, the Jets with Vince Carter in there. Quincy Carter.
Well, we'll take 7. Take the slam dunk, too. Denver Broncos spanked the New Orleans Saints today. Coach, Peyton Manning, 35 touchdown tosses on the season, Terry.
I know it. That's great. You know what? What is he? Just what? How many shy of the record? 48? 13?
48 is the record.
Believe that?
Yeah, we saw the Titans with Steve McNair at the helm get it done. Hey, Kurt Busch wins the Nextel Cup. That is his first championship. And Kurt Busch celebrating, going around with the Nextel Cup flag there. Congratulations, Kurt Busch, indeed. And, hey, folks, the Super Bowl of racing, the Daytona 500 comes your way on Fox February 20th, 2 weeks after the Super Bowl, where Busch starts the season in an effort to defend his Nextel Cup championship.
Jack Rouse Racing, congratulations, their second Nextel Cup championship in a row. Pretty good.
All right, big fella.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think New York, Eli Manning, you know, off to a little bit of a slow start. He's behind people. He's up above people. Atlanta's defense continuing to play well. Atlanta didn't do a great job of managing the clock in that last drive, as our game crew pointed out. And Cris Collinsworth, our game analyst, also pointed out that he was surprised by the number of people that were on my midway point, all defensive teams. And Cris, you know, you should know this more than anyone. It's all about relationships, cultivating relationships. Joe and Troy, I mean, you're out there watching Cris firsthand every week continue to cultivate relationships with players and coaches around our league. The guy is really good at it.
So, Howie, the question is, has it borne fruit for Cris Collinsworth, cultivating relationships?
Oh, yeah.
With whom? His broadcast partners?
Yeah.
Some the local news, others back for Terry. Cris, we love you. Howard's cracking on you.
Honorable mention. All right.
Check. Drop the drums right here. Think we missing something though. Oh, I got it. Put some horns right here. Let's do it again.
Archie, Peyton, Eli, first overall pick. Doesn't want to go to San Diego, ends up with the Giants, getting his first start, the 5-4 Giants, but it's been Michael Vick in the first half. And for the latest in fantasy stats, log on to foxsports.com. You look at the numbers for Vick, Warwick Dunn. Duckett has not been a factor to this point, but he's their closer. He'll get a lot more work in the second half. And we welcome you back to the stadium, Giant Stadium. And before you get to see our faces, which is really not that exciting, we'll show you a kickoff on the part of Steve Christie to the Atlanta Falcons, who will start with the football here in the second half. This is Rossum. And Allen Rossum has a lane, gets it out to the 29-yard line, and I guess that's the story, isn't it? Everybody wants to talk about Eli and Archie and Peyton and the Giants and all that, but Michael Vick again showing everything he can do in the first half.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question, Joe, and certainly the Giants have to do some better things offensively, and they have to start making some plays for Eli Manning, but the Giants defense has to start doing something because, as you mentioned, Michael Vick is playing exceptionally well, and this Falcons offense converting 67% on third downs.
Yeah, and Eli Manning, I think, has played very well here in the first half. He just hasn't gotten any help from his friends.
We look for the first play from Michael Vick in this Atlanta offense. As he fires, that's done coming out of the backfield, and a penalty flag comes in on the play. Will Peterson has been busy trying to make a lot of tackles today, and we will check the marker. It's in the area of a hole. We'll see if that is indeed what it is as we get the call from Jeff Triplett.
Personal foul. Chop block. Number 63, number 33, the offense. That's half the distance to the goal. Repeat, first down.
So they get a combination of Garza and Griffith, the fullback, on a chop block.
Anytime an offensive lineman is engaged with someone, the running back cannot chop him at the legs. That was sort of a bang-bang play on that one, but that's what was called.
Wait a minute, let him get back
But
out
they
there.
got there at about the same time. But it costs Atlanta and brings up a 1st and 24. And now penalty flags at the snap. This looks to be against the Giants and William Joseph, as Warwick Dunn takes it over the right side. William Joseph came across, and he's going to be flagged for offside.
So the sloppiness from the end of the first half continues here into the
Offside.
second half.
Defense, number 94. It's a 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
All right, Joe, Tom Coughlin with the same sentiments that Troy talked about. He says we just got to make some plays, any kind of plays, offense, defense. Somebody has to start stepping up. He says the obvious, too. We also have to contain Michael Vick. Meantime, Jim Mora, nothing but compliments for his defense, especially the way they stopped the run to the tune of 42 yards for the Giants in that first half. He said also, as far as Michael Vick goes, we're going to let him go. We got to get him on the edge and run if he wants to.
And I think, Pam, to a certain degree, the Giants have to let Eli Manning go. Michael Vick escapes trouble for a moment, but eventually goes down. Humidity. Hand was the first to get a hand on him, and a loss of 4.
Yeah, give Norman Hand some credit because he's the one who got the push up inside, which created the pressure for Michael Vick. He wanted to step up there. Norman Hand comes off on him, and then the rest of the guys came off the edge. Lance Legree along with O.C. Humidity there to ultimately bring him to the ground.
And Justice Griffith was wide open, and Mike Vick just couldn't find a throwing lane to get him the ball.
2nd down and 23. Crowd's trying to get back into the game. They hand it Dunn. Penalty flag again comes in. And it was Triplett, the referee, who threw the flag. Brent Alexander on the tackle. A gain of 5 on that run by Dunn. And this one appears to be against Atlanta.
Holding, 74 the offense. That penalty is declined. 3rd down.
So 3rd and long now for the Falcons.
Yeah, we showed a shot there of Brent Alexander, and he's really had his work cut out for him this year with the injuries to Sean Williams earlier in the season. Jabril Wilson then steps in, and he's trying to direct him and get him lined up. And today he's working with Terry Cousin in there at safety, and he's one of the veteran guys for this Giants defense, and he also is very familiar with defensive coordinator Tim Lewis's system, and that's helped as well.
3rd down and 18. And Vick has to spend a timeout.
Whoa.
Vick called the timeout and walked away. He got the timeout from Triplett.
Joe, that was very dangerous on the part of Mike Vick. He called the timeout, but until the official signals it, it is not a timeout, and they did not blow that whistle when he walked away from this ball.
Atlanta gets the timeout. 3rd and 18 when we come back. Giants fans say, let's go. 3rd down and 18. Down 14-0 are the Giants. Vick flips it. Done. Time for Atlanta to punt. And now a penalty flag comes in at the end of the play. Could be ineligible man downfield. Who knows? It looked like that was what the umpire was signaling. It'll be declined if it is.
Ineligible downfield. Number 63 of the offense. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Reggie Torber, who's starting to make a name for himself, was in on that last stop to force the punt from Chris Moore.
And a good job by Tim Lewis on that last possession as well, bringing in Terry Cousin down in there, and he's the one who got pressure on Vick before he made the shovel toss.
Jones, penalty flag, as Jones makes a move and gets it out to the 43. Demario Williams on the stop, and now another flag comes in.
Refs are going to have tendonitis at the end of this.
They're going to have to ice down after the game. 5-yard return by Jones, and there appear to be 2 separate fouls with a total of 3 flags on the field.
A lot of good bonding time for the guys today. Special teams, sometimes you wonder if they just would go down and agree to not touch anybody. I know as an offense, you sit over there and you watch those guys get that penalty and back you up 10 yards. It's like, just catch the ball and take a knee. We'd be better off half the time.
So while the officials sort through this,
there are 2 fouls on the play. Personal foul. Late hit, number 58 of the receiving team. That penalty is declined. During the kick, holding. Number 41 of the receiving team. That penalty is accepted. 10 yards from the end of the kick. 1st down. Timeout.
So it was Torber on the hit. It was Frank Walker on the hold. And instead of having it outside their own 40, this will cost the Giants 10 yards. Here's the one that counted as they get Walker on the hold. Giants have it for the first time in this second half. I know at the end of the first half they let Eli Manning go downfield and they threw the interception. I'd like to see how the Giants want to play here, down 14-0. See if they want to open it up. They start with a run to Tiki Barber, and they've done nothing to stretch out this defense of the Atlanta Falcons as Scott makes the tackle after a gain of 2.
No, a big part of what they've done in the running game is they've run it between the tackles. They really have not been able to get Tiki Barber out on the edges, and he has run the ball pretty effectively as far as the yards per carry average. He's got 10 carries for 45 yards, but one of those runs was for 23 yards. So Atlanta's done a pretty good job of keeping him bottled up.
Play action from Manning. Looks back across the field, and it's Toomer not being able to make the catch. Jason Webster with the hit after the ball got there.
And it's really fun to watch Eli Manning, for a guy as young as he is, go front side, backside. He looked to the front side, was looking for Shockey, comes backside to Toomer. That's just a good defensive play. Not a drop on that one as they come in and break that one up. But you can see how relaxed Eli is getting now as he is progressing from read to read. Unfortunately, there's just not anybody open.
Well, he's done that pretty consistently throughout this game. So what that tells you is he's got a good understanding of what he's wanting to do within this offensive scheme.
Archie Manning looked like he was in pain watching this, as Eli Manning buys time and flips it to Barber. Great play for a Giants first down.
Eli just drew the rusher to him out of coverage and then flipped it over his head. Very savvy play for a young man.
Yeah, Eli Manning certainly not the most mobile guy, but as Peyton Manning will tell you, he said he's the most athletic of us two. And Eli Manning gets out on the edge, and he does. He brings the rush up to him. And then Tiki Barber able to sneak in behind it. Now Tiki Barber a little shaken up on the field.
And I think what happened to Tiki is he was taken straight back and his arms were pinned on his chest. You could see his head whip on the ground. And I know as a receiver, that's one of the most devastating injuries because it really just rattles your brain. There's nothing you can do in that whip onto the ground. Watch his head. See, he can't break his fall at all. Now watch his head. Just whip down on the ground, and that can just literally almost knock you out.
Big third down there. That's something the Giants had not been doing a very good job of in the first half. And as a result, they're able to keep this drive alive. A nice job by the Giants defense to open up this second half, stopping the Falcons. Now the Giants need to do something with it here.
Kane is in the game. They fake to him, and finally Shockey makes the catch. And Jeremy is out just beyond the 45-yard line, and the crowd lets Shockey hear it.
And I know Jeremy has dropped some balls earlier in the first half, but I still don't think they're taking advantage of some of the skills that he has. We're always seeing him lined up in the tight end position or in the fullback position as a blocker or running his routes from the inside. When he was really going, we were seeing him split out more as a wide receiver, and that's how a lot of these tight ends in the National Football League are having some of the success that they're currently having.
Toss to Dane running left. Dane gets half a yard, bring up third down.
And Troy, to go back to your point just a minute too, remember in the first half they flanked him out down here to this side and they got him one-on-one against Brian Scott, and Brian Scott essentially had 2 holds on the play. And it seems strange that they haven't come back to that formation again.
Well, I just think the tight end creates so many advantages for an offense. A receiving threat tight end, which Jeremy Shockey certainly is the best friend for a quarterback, and you'd like to utilize those skills as best you can as an offense, and the Giants have not been able to do that this year.
Third down and 4. Manning fires, and there's Shockey. A first down for New York. And we talked to Eli about Shockey, and we talked to Shockey about Eli. Said when I found out, and he was laughing as he said it, he wanted to take Eli out to dinner. This is a chance for Shockey and Eli Manning to hook up and become best buddies on the field.
Well, and this is one of the reasons why a tight end is so valuable in the passing game. We see Jeremy Shockey come off the ball, and he's got the ability to work within space off of linebackers that aren't near the athlete that he is.
Blitz coming. And that play never happened as D'Angelo Hall shows off his athletic ability. It's a false start and a 5-yard penalty on the Giants and Luke Pettigrew.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 77 in the offense. The 5-yard penalty, still first down.
How'd you like what D'Angelo Hall just showed?
That's the best false start Luke Pettigrew ever had. Oh, I mean, what an athletic move this is. 8th pick in the draft. D'Angelo Hall finally getting some playing time after missing the first 6 games of the season with a hip injury.
I'd say his hip is okay now. And Patrick Kearney was telling us last night his favorite part about D'Angelo Hall is not his coverage skills, it's his tackling skills, as he's a real tough guy.
Toss to Dane running right. You know, guys, we were in Green Bay when Brett Favre suffered a concussion on a similar play that we saw Tiki Barber moments ago. They have to endure, and that is to go down to the field and, as Cris described, slam his head, the back of his head, against this turf here at Giant Stadium. And you wonder if you're talking about a situation where he's going to be able to come back in.
Well, for the Giants' sake, if they're going to get back in this game, he needs to come back in, because think about where this team would be if Tiki Barber was not playing.
There's Shockey down here. They've got him split out now. Got the matchup they had in the first half.
2nd down and 12. Manning looking for Shockey. Shockey was open, but Manning overthrew him.
That one just sailed. He had the matchup. He was open. Don't know if maybe a linebacker dropped underneath the throwing lane, but you just don't expect the bonus baby to miss one that badly.
Well, and that's one of the times when you do talk about splitting a tight end out to the wide out position. One of the things that makes it so easy for a quarterback to throw to a tight end is because when they are lined up inside, you're not having to have a great deal of timing. When you split that guy out to the outside, then more of the timing comes into play, like it does when you're throwing to a wide receiver.
Eli has to use a timeout. Each side with 2 left. It'll be a 3rd down and 12 for the Giants when we come back. New York trailing by 14. Tiki Barber is #1 in the NFL with 1,391 yards from scrimmage coming into this game. See how big of a part of this Giants offense he is on the sideline. 3rd down and 12 for New York. This will be on Atlanta as a penalty flag comes in, and there's Shockey with a 1st down. Fighting inside the 30. Brady Smith came across early. That's why they threw a flag. And Shockey ends up on the other end of the reception and down to the Atlanta 29.
What a good job there.
Offside, number 51 of the defense. That penalty is declined. 1st down.
Really good pocket presence there by Eli Manning. He gets pressure on the outside because of the early jump by Brady Smith, but the line does a good job of allowing Eli Manning to step up in the pocket and then find Jeremy Shockey down the field.
Good news for the Giants. Tiki Barber back in the game on 1st and 10. Handoff is to Barber. Rod Coleman was there to help on the tackle in a gain of 2.
You know, Peyton Manning obviously is the MVP of the league this year, but Tiki Barber has just had a sensational season. Coming into this game, he was on pace to break Marshall Faulk's single-season record for most combined yards. You add that to the fact that he has had 200 and almost 300 touches now this season without losing a fumble. Just a remarkable turnaround year for Tiki Barber.
11th play of this drive coming up. Longest drive the Giants have had today. Manning has it knocked down, and it's Rod Coleman who got his hands up with Barber, the intended receiver.
Now you follow up on Tiki Barber, and Tiki Barber has never been voted in to the Pro Bowl. He's gone to the Pro Bowl as an alternate, but he's actually never been voted in. And this year, in fact, currently amongst the votes with the fans, he leads all NFL running backs. And I tell you, if he does not get voted into the Pro Bowl this year, something is drastically wrong with the process.
You just hate to think what the Giants would have been offensively this year without him.
3rd down and 8. Manning fires, has Toomer. And Amani Toomer has a 1st down inside the 15. They'll mark him at the 13. And Eli Manning is getting hot.
And what did he tell us coming into the game, Joe? He said, I want to make good decisions and I want to get the ball out of my hands quickly. You watch him get back and get set up. He hits his back step and the ball's gone right there with pressure in his face. He's able to find Amani Toomer. Amani's barely out of his break and the ball's on him. Great anticipation by Eli Manning.
Kurt Warner's enjoying the show, but he's also enjoying watching the protection. That time the Falcons came with 5 and this vaunted pass rush of theirs, and they're really not getting the job done. The Giants offensive line playing very well right now.
2nd time during this drive that Manning and the Giants have had to use a timeout. But they've got a 1st down with a ball at the Atlanta 13 as they trail by 14. Eli Manning completed 5 passes the first half, 5 out of 14. There were some drops. He is 5 for 8 on this drive. 1st down from the Atlanta 13. Empty backfield. Passes out of the reach of Ike Hilliard.
And without question, the most difficult part of playing quarterback or playing offense in the National Football League is not between the 20s. It's once you get inside the 20. It is literally an entirely different game that the defenses play. They don't have to worry about the deep balls. You see them clamping down on the receivers. That time Jeremy Shockey coming off got a complete facial from Chris Draft, just ripped him as he tried to come over the middle, and there just hasn't been the openings that have been there between the 20s.
See if that's on Ed Jasper. Ed Jasper came across. He's the guy with 11 staples in his forehead.
Number 95 in the defense. That's a 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
And I'll tell you what, Joe, that's just a veteran play on Eli Manning's part. Well, there's the staples you were talking about. Yeah, and I don't even know how you play with that.
His teammates are calling him Leatherface. I mean, I guess I just have to say that. Got a deal on him at Home Depot from Arthur Blank, but here's the thing, they have to numb the area.
Yeah.
He made a tackle last week after his helmet was ripped off.
They had to take padding out of his helmet so that it wouldn't irritate the staples. So not only does he have staples, but he's got less padding in his helmet.
2nd down and 5. They hand to Barber. Tiki Barber down to the 3-yard line. It depends on the spot as to whether this is a first down or not. Matt Stewart on the tackle.
Yeah, it looks like he got it, Joe, but I want to go back to that 2nd down play when when Eli Manning did the hard count and picked up an easy 5 yards. He missed Ike Hilliard on the first down call that put him in 2nd and long, to then go with the hard count and get them to 2nd and 5. That's what's allowed Tiki Barber to pick up this first down, and now 1st and goal.
They have to get this play off in a hurry. Play clock is down to 5. On 1st and goal, Tiki Barber nowhere to go. Matt Stewart was the first to grade him, and now D'Angelo Hall and Amani Toomer get into it.
Yeah, I think we've seen enough scuffles to last us for a few weeks.
That's for sure. Loss of 3 on that run by Barber.
Watching some of that stuff with the NBA the other night, can you imagine, though, if they put up fans drinking beer around the field in the National Football League the way they do in the NBA?
Oh.
Be a fight every week.
2nd down and goal. Manning over the middle. Has his first touchdown, and it's Shockey. Shockey became his favorite target on the possession, and Archie Manning with a Giants hat on looks a little better now as New York is taking a bite out of the Falcons lead.
Well, watch Shockey's going to start to the outside and then back underneath on the route. Does a good job of running that off the linebacker. Of course, it's a tight fit, and Eli had to stick that one on him.
Well, it was payback for Jeremy Shockey. Remember, Chris Draft got his hands on him, stumped him earlier in the drive. That time juked him out and made the touchdown.
The first touchdown for Eli Manning, and it's a 14-7 Atlanta lead. Eli Manning, Tiki Barber, Jesse Palmer talking about that last drive. Manning was impressive. 78,793. We'll be able to truthfully say they were at Giant Stadium when Eli Manning made his NFL debut as a starter. Will it be in a win or a loss? Right now it's 14-7. Atlanta on top. Rossum on the return and Ward on the hit. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Hey, Joe, I wanted to be sure to watch what happened with that football, that special touchdown football. After this touchdown, Ike Hilliard had the presence of mind to recover the ball. He then gave it to Shockey. Shockey came over to the bench and right in front of Eli pretended like he was going to throw it up in the stands. It ended up in the hands of the equipment manager, Ed Wagner, who is with me now. He's got that special ball. It's marked. It's going to go in the equipment case there, and it'll be, I guess, put in some special place in the Manning household.
All right, Pam, thank you very much. After making that last tackle, Derek Ward is down on the field, and they're looking at him. And if you talk about history, Archie Manning won his debut 24-20 over the Rams back in 1971. Eli's big brother Peyton, 5 years older, the #1 overall pick in '98, lost his debut with 3 interceptions, did throw for 302 yards in a loss to Dan Marino and the Miami Dolphins.
How'd you like to have 2 sons One signed a $50 million contract, and the other signed a $100 million contract all in the same year.
I'd love it.
That wouldn't be bad, would
I
it?
got 2 girls, though. I don't think it's going to happen for me.
The next Mia Hams.
The first touchdown pass from Archie Manning was 6 yards. The first touchdown pass from Peyton Manning was good for 6 yards, and the first from Eli Manning, 6 yards. And it's 14-7. Vick, nice catch by Griffith, the fullback, and he steps out of bounds at the 32. Let's go back in time. A 6-yard touchdown throw from Archie Manning to Dave Parks back in 1971. 6 yards from Peyton Manning to Marvin Harrison, first of many between those two, and now 6 yards between Eli Manning and Jeremy Shockey to make it a 7-point game.
I think Troy said it right. The first of many. You can tell this young man has some special skills.
2nd down and 3 for Atlanta. Giants showing blitz. They back out of it. Warwick Dunn has a first down for the Falcons. Wrestled down by Allen, and we'll go for a game break and say hi again to James Brown.
Hey, Joe Buck, after no catches in the first half, Terrell Owens patiently waiting for this. He's got 2 in the second half, including that touchdown toss. Well, you know he's got something in his repertoire. That's the old exercise routine. 14-6 Eagles. Hey, Cris Collinsworth, no matter how they tease with you, I know you have a lot of friends around the league. Back to Joe Buck.
Just you, JB. Just you, buddy.
On first down, they hand it Dunn. And Dunn gets it out to the 42, a gain of 4.
That calisthenic that T.O. is doing?
Yeah.
They haven't done that since Pop Warner, have they? I mean, do you see anybody do that?
Did you guys?
I think Jack LaLanne was the last guy I saw do that one.
We did that in high school with the astronaut War Eagles. There's called 1-2 way back. 1-2 way back.
So a little old school from T.O. Meanwhile, it's 2nd down and 6 for Michael Vick. Play action, Vick over the middle, and the pass is behind Price. Peterson defending for the Giants.
You have to say, if the Atlanta Falcons are missing anything on offense, it's a big playmaker at the wide receiver position. They have guys that are good players, certainly, but they don't have that one outstanding threat to complement Algie Crumpler on the outside. They drafted Michael Jenkins, hoping that he would be the guy, and maybe he will be eventually. But right now, they're still looking for somebody to really step up.
Well, they're paying Price like he's a big threat on the outside. 3rd down and 6. Coming on a blitz are the Giants. Vick flips it, incomplete. And it's 4th down for Atlanta.
And that was kind of my point earlier in the first half, Joe, was that when you bring pressure and you make the ball come out of Michael Vick's hands, then you force him to be a passer. Clearly, that's not his strength. They go man across the board, and they go lock up on Algie Crumpler up inside. And Vick's, I mean, it was going to have to take a good pass, but that's the approach now that Tim Lewis has taken as defensive coordinator. Put pressure on Vick, turn him into a passer, don't give him the lanes to run.
Punt by Moore is short. And it will be downed at the 36-yard line. Good field position for the Giants. Eli Manning and the New York offense, fresh off that long drive, back to business.
Required this week to secure the gobbler, and I hear Officer Pack's going to be coming in from Green Bay.
On first down, and toss to Barber running left. Tiki Barber, a first down and into Atlanta territory out at the 48. 16-yard gain. Corey Hall defending and made the stop, and now he's down. The free safety for the Falcons.
One thing that the Giants do such a great job of is they use those tight ends to get out in front of those sweep plays. That time it was Marcellus Rivers, who this week took over for Presante Shanko as the backup tight end, who not only got out in front of that play, but really secured the edge and allowed Tiki to take off.
You know, when the Giants have had their success today, and when Tiki Barber has had his success running the football, it's been because he's been able to get to the outside on the perimeter. In talking with Rich McKay, the general manager for the Atlanta Falcons, saying where they need to get better as they move into the next season, he said, we need more speed on the defensive side of the ball. that's indicative of how Tiki Barber's been able to get on the outside, because they don't quite have the speed at the linebacker position. Keith Brookings certainly a guy that can run, but he's coming off of a strained hamstring and not able to run like he typically can. But that's an area where they need improvement.
Take a break. 2:30 left, third quarter. Giants inside Falcon territory. Corey Hall is still down as he gets attention from the trainers for the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta already lost Keon Carpenter this year, and now Hall is able to get up and walk off. I've got Kevin McAdam, backup free safety, in there now to take Corey Hall's spot. First down from the Atlanta 48 for the Giants.
And the significance of Corey Hall is he is really the best communicator out there, and Jim Mora could not emphasize that enough. He said the other guys we had back there, young D'Angelo Hall and Brian Scott and Jason Webster, they don't like to talk very much. And Corey Hall, they were relieved to get him back in there because he does such a great job of getting those guys in the right spot. So now the job falls to McAdam. I've got to say, the most impressive thing for me in this game, yes, Eli Manning's been great, but the play of this Giants offensive line against a terrific pass rushing team has just been rock solid.
Yeah, and I think they've played pretty decent all season long. You know, they're certainly not responsible for all the sacks that have been given up.
Four-man rush. Pass is nearly picked off by Hall as Toomer didn't have his head around looking for the ball.
And that's probably the biggest difference with Eli Manning. He anticipates throws, and as you talk to the receivers for the New York Giants, they would tell you, just in practice, you have to really snap your head around as you come out of those routes, because he's going to throw it long before you're coming out of your break. You'll see Toomer this time really never got his head around, and D'Angelo Hall had it slip right through his fingers.
Second down and 10. That's Jim Finn, the fullback. He's got a first down inside the 35. Down to the 33, a gain of 15.
We talked a little bit about it earlier. The decision making that Eli Manning is making in this game is really outstanding. He's trying to get the ball to Jeremy Shockey up in the seam route, but Keith Brookings gets underneath that. Eli Manning recognizes it immediately and knows exactly where Finn is to get the ball into his hands, and as a result they pick up positive yardage and get the first down.
It was a great read. Chris Draft dropped into that Tampa too and was nowhere to be found in the middle.
On first down, they hand to Barber. Offensive line opens up a hole for Tiki Barber, and he gets 6. You know, Troy, you certainly know better than I do that they judge quarterbacks on how they handle adversity. And if you look at the first half, Eli Manning, with all the pressure of being the #1 pick, playing in New York, a $45 million contract, a chance to make over $50 million, down 14-0. Guys are dropping passes all over the place. And now here in this second half, he has really got his feet underneath him and is playing well.
Joe, Eli grew into pressure. I mean, he grew up with pressure. He grew up with Peyton Manning being his brother and Archie Manning being his father. That's all he's ever known.
Second down and 5, and it's intercepted. Taken back the other way by Brady Smith. There's a penalty flag down on the play as Brady Smith, now more penalty flags. And Eli Manning was left laying on the turf. There are 4 different flags out on the field. There's one all the way back at the Atlanta 21. And then there are more back at the end of the run back. A 60-yard return by Brady Smith. And we'll see if that stands as his first interception.
And it's the first big mistake we've seen out of Eli Manning. You get the zone blitz drop by the defensive end, dropping back underneath. They brought the pressure and then dropped underneath to the weak side.
2 fouls after the interception. Illegal block in the back, number 25, and the return correction to defense. During the return, personal foul, low block, number 10 of the offense. Those penalties by rule will offset at the spot of the illegal block in the back by the intercepting team. First down.
So it's the second interception of the day for Eli Manning. Brady Smith gets his first of the year, tossed it to Webster, and the Atlanta Falcons will take over.
Right there you see Brady Smith, the defensive end, drop back underneath the slant route. All Eli saw was that he was going to be wide open, got underneath the cornerback, did not see the dropping defensive end. And just so you know the rule, Eli Manning, no one on an interception or a turnover play is allowed to go low and block.
And Chris, I'll tell you, that's the difference right now for young quarterbacks. That's something that I never had to face. The zone blitz, you think you've got everybody accounted for. You've got a seam to throw the slant route, and a defensive end who normally rushes is dropping underneath it.
The bigger back, T.J. Duckett, is in the lineup for Atlanta, and he gets it. Duckett gets it up to the 25, a gain of 4.
And I thought that interception just so significant because we saw this smaller defensive line for the Atlanta Falcons begin to be pushed around by a much bigger offensive line. You know, there's not anybody on the Falcons defensive line over 300 pounds, and it just looked to me like they were beginning to wear down.
It'll be 2nd down and 6 when we come back, and when we do, it will be the 4th quarter. That's the end of 3. Atlanta 14, Giants 7. The NFL on Fox will continue after a word from your local Fox station. 14-7 after 3 here in the Meadowlands. One touchdown throw for Eli Manning, 2 interceptions, with a penalty on Atlanta on the block right after the interception. It wiped out that long return, the combination of Brady Smith and Jason Webster. So it's 2nd down and 6 with the ball at the Atlanta 25. Vick gonna run, and Michael Vick is forced out of bounds with an Atlanta 1st down, and Vick ends up under the bench.
Let's go back to the interception now. You're going to see Eli Manning. He's going to see the pressure coming from this way and just whip and throw the ball to the backside, never seeing Brady Smith drop underneath. He recognized the pressure, knew he had to go backside, but that's exactly what the zone blitz is supposed to do. Drop underneath those quick slants that the quarterbacks have to throw.
Yeah, and when you talk about NFL defenses, that's one of the schemes that defenses employ that you don't see at the collegiate level.
On 1st down, Michael Vick overthrew Griffith and almost threw it right to the defense. Emmons and Lewis were there. And Emmons is thinking about what might have been.
Yeah, Carlos Emmons had a chance to return the favor, and if he's able to make that catch, he's going all the way for a touchdown. And Michael Vick comes out on the boot, gets pressure in his face there by Chuck Wiley, and Carlos Emmons had a chance.
Wow.
2nd down and 10. T.J. Duckett out to the 38, a gain of 7. Let's go for some NBA news from James Brown.
Hey, Joe Buck, one of the ugliest chapters in sports history has been capped with some of the harshest penalties the league has ever issued. Ron Artest, seen here in the footage, was suspended for the rest of the season today. That's 73 games. Jermaine O'Neal, 25 of the Pacers. Steven Jackson for 30. And Ben Wallace for 6. Overall, 9 players receive penalties without pay. Let's take it back to Joe Buck.
All right, JB, thanks. 3rd down and 3. Extra men coming on the rush. Vick going backward. In trouble. The ball comes out. Right now they're ruling fumble. And it belongs to Atlanta, but it's 4th down.
And that's going to be very close to a tuck rule. You could see that Mike Vick was trying to throw the ball forward, and he just simply got his arm hit. Let's see if his arm's moving forward at all. Nope, it just got drawn back and then popped straight up in the air. The Falcons very lucky.
And that's one of the things that Greg Knapp has been trying to work on with Michael Vick. Yeah, they don't want to take the athleticism out of him. They don't want to take the playmaking ability away from him. But you've got to recognize when there's nothing there and being able to get rid of the football and avoiding the negative play.
Wow. You see Lance Legree had a shot at that loose ball, and it was Todd McClure, the center for the Falcons, ending up with it. Jones Well played downfield by McAdam after a 39-yard punt, and now another penalty flag comes in at the very end of the play. After Jones was already up and starting to walk off the field. As it stands now, the Giants have good field position. And we'll see who this is against.
And Joe, you just can't underestimate the significance of this game for these two teams. If the Falcons win here, they essentially lock up their division. And for the New York Giants, with as poor records as there is across the NFC, for them to move to 6-4, you've got to think that 9 wins in the NFC this season probably get you a playoff spot.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 58 of the return team. That's a 10-yard penalty. First down. Timeout.
So instead of the ball at the 39, that'll mark it back to the 29-yard line. Michael Vick, that play. Falcons end up with a ball, punt it back to the Giants, who trail by 7. Starting from their own 29, down by 7. The Giants. Manning drops it off for Barber. Tiki Barber has a first down, and he had blocking from Jason Whittle out in front of him to help him pick up 13 yards.
This is one of the more remarkable fumble recoveries of the year. Todd McClure, the center, is right there, and it looks like there's 5 Giants on top of the pile that should have gotten it. Then the official piles on top of McClure, and somehow McClure rolls out of there with the football. Right there. The officials in there still looking for the ball, and McClure's on the bench.
The ball at the Giant 41. Hand off to Barber. Bouncing it outside. Got a block from Toomer. And Barber gets it into Atlanta territory, a gain of 9.
You know, one of the really remarkable things about Tiki Barber is his vision. I don't know how many times during the course of the season we see running backs run to darkness and basically run into people. Tiki Barber just never does that. He always finds a crease. He seems to always find a hole somewhere to go with the football. Just a very deserving all-star this year.
3rd straight year over 1,000 yards on the ground. He's up to 1,007, 4th time in his career. 2nd down and 1. They stay with a hot hand, and Barber. Tiki Barber fights for extra yards. It was Brian Scott on the tackle after a gain of 10.
It's just remarkable to watch him glide. As you see, there's just going to be nothing to the front side, and he's just going to glide and cut it all the way back to the other side and use his speed. It looks so simple, but it is just so difficult to do.
And a good job on the outside by Jeremy Shockey, hooking Travis Hall, the defensive end, which gave Tiki Barber the cutback and the ability to get out on the edge.
Dane now in the backfield for the Giants. Manning fires, and he's got Toomer. And Amani Toomer is brought down right at the marker. We'll see where they place it.
You know,
First down.
excuse me, Joe, one of the things that happens when you're a young quarterback is there a tendency to stare down the receiver, and that's what leads to a lot of interceptions. Watch Eli Manning as he knows exactly where he's going with the ball. He starts out looking a little to his left to try to hold linebackers from getting underneath that curl route. Comes right back to Amani Toomer underneath, and you can tell, as we've talked about, how quickly the ball gets on these receivers.
A blitz. They run away from it with Ron Dane. Dane gets it to the 23. Troy, you had a chance to talk to Archie Manning before this game, and one could only imagine what it's like for a father to watch your kid step into this situation. And Archie's been in those seats right amongst these Giant fans from the beginning.
Yeah, and I asked him if he was nervous. I said, you probably didn't get any sleep last night. And he said, you know, he said when they're playing in Pop Warner and they're playing junior high ball in high school and college, it's not difficult. But he fully understands how hard it is to win in the National Football League. He said each and every week he really gets nervous for both Peyton and Eli.
Eli's making enough money to get him a better seat than that. Ron Dane. That'll bring up 3rd down and less than a yard.
You know, Archie makes pretty good money too. You know, I mean,
I'm not worried about any of them, believe me.
Archie did okay.
He did okay too. I tell you, that guy's doing okay lately. Ron Dane, I've never liked him as a short yardage back, but the injury to Mike Cloud has given him an opportunity to get back in there. And for the last 2 weeks, when they line him up in the deep I, the tailback position, we've seen Ron Dane make some pretty nice runs.
But here on a short yardage situation, it's Barber in the lineup on 3rd down and 1. Quick snap, Tiki Barber. And Barber's got enough for a 1st down.
And that's something that they've gone more to, Joe, whether it was Cloud that was in the backfield or backing up Tiki Barber, or if it was Ron Dane. They've started here over the last couple of weeks going with more of Tiki Barber in those situations, and rightfully so. A much more powerful guy, a much more physical runner than people have given him credit for, but he's certainly proven that throughout the course of this year.
Well, here we go again, back in the red zone now. Clearly the most difficult part of playing quarterback in the National Football League.
Manning able to keep his feet, just throws it away. The direction of Hilliard.
Just a smart play. He knew he was in trouble, stumbled out. Offensive lineman stepped on his foot. It's 1st down, just throw it out of bounds. Let's start over again.
You can see Jim Morris calling for intentional grounding, but there was a receiver in the area. Hilliard was down there for the Giants.
And there was no one about to make a sack. I guess you could claim that Kearney was, but really not close enough to invoke that rule.
2nd down and 10. With Manning directing the protection prior to the snap, Tiki Barber takes it to the 14-yard line, and a flag comes in at the end of the play as Snee ends up without his helmet on. Was it ripped off? Did he take it off? What happened?
Jeremy Shockey says it's on the Falcons. There you go, Chris. Get a little FaceTime, baby.
After the play is over, personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Number 56 of the defense. Jammed the offensive player's head in the face mask. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic 1st down.
Well, that's as easy a call as there is.
Yeah, that's a good call, and that's not something you normally see from Keith Brooking. I mean, a 3-time Pro Bowl player. He plays hard, he plays aggressive, but he doesn't typically play like that. Easy call for the officials. Dumb play by Keith Brooking on 3rd and long, all of a sudden giving up a 1st down to the Giants.
And that happens when somebody's whipping your tail.
On 1st and goal, a toss to Barber. Nowhere to go. And Webster from his corner spot came up to hit Barber first. Loss of 1.
It's interesting watching Eli Manning at the line of scrimmage. Basically, when you see him pointing, he's pointing out the Mike backer, and what that means is his offensive line is responsible for the 4-down lineman and the Mike backer in protection. Otherwise, the backs are possibly Eli has to pick up the rest of them. But he's doing it on run downs. He's essentially disguising the fact that it's about to be a run, something you just wouldn't expect out of a real young quarterback.
Unless you're a Manning.
Good point.
2nd down and goal. They fake the reverse. Manning scrambling for his life, and he throws it away.
Knows he's outside the pocket. No problem to throw it in the stands, even though no receiver out there.
That'll bring up 3rd and goal.
Yeah, so now you get a break on the Keith Brooking personal foul, which gives you a 1st down. And because they stuffed Tiki Barber on 1st down, all of a sudden you're faced with 3rd and goal once again from what, the 9-yard line. Not an easy place to be trying to fit a ball into the end zone down here in the red zone.
Yeah, this is truly Jeremy Shockey territory. Let's see if we can pick him up. He scored last time. He's flanked right up there on the top of your screen.
Play clock is at 1. They just got it away. A blitz. The pass to Hilliard, and Hilliard is knocked down. A flag on the play. And it's a hold against the Giants. It'll be declined, and it'll bring up 4th down.
Jeff Triplett getting more face time than Eli Manning is tonight.
Holding number 63 in the offense. That penalty's declined. 4th down.
So now the field goal unit will come on for the Giants to try and make it a 4-point game.
You know, Troy, one of the things, if you blitz this New York Giants offense with some of their protection schemes, it forces Jeremy Shockey to block. So you won't even have to cover the guy. You just blitz to his side, and in certain protection schemes, he has to stay in.
Yeah, I hate, you know, you got one timeout. You hate to burn it there, but boy, I would have liked to have seen him call the timeout and try to regroup and get a better play off.
Christie hits the 24-yarder to make it 14-10. So the Falcons again are in a fight. 1 point led 14-0. It's a 4-point game with under 6.5 to play. John Huffnagel, the offensive coordinator for the Giants, on your right with the glasses on, talking to Eli Manning. It's a 14-10 game, and here are the Falcons again. They were up 17-0 last week, rolling over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then everything just went dead. Their offense stopped moving the ball. They kept giving Tampa Bay chances, and the defense ended up having to make a great stop on a 4th and 1 to really set up the clinching touchdown to Algie Crumpler. And now, after leading 14-0 today, it's 14-10, and they're in a fight with the Giants. Rossum on the return, penalty flags again, and another chance for the United States to see the face of Jeff Triplett. I mean, it has just been one penalty after another all day long.
I wonder what his Q rating is. I mean, he's going to be getting endorsement deals after
During the
this
return,
game.
Eagles blocking the back. Number
there.
55 in
There's
the return
a new look.
team. 10-yard penalty. 1st down.
It's rivaling Cosby's Q rating back in the 80s.
Well, yeah, Tom Coughlin and Jim Moore don't like his Q rating, I'll tell you that.
It's 14-10. Atlanta on top. Brady Smith firing down orange slices on the bench while the Atlanta offense needs to move the ball. Leading by 4 now, and they hand off. Warwick Dunn gets it out to the 17-yard line, a gain of 5. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Hey, Joe, during that Giants drive, at one point, Jim Mora waded through his players till he came across tight end Algie Crumpler. They discussed some things, and apparently it got Crumpler fired up in a good way because he marched over to Mike Vick, gave him a pound, and said some few words. It is almost as if they want to make a concerted effort to get that spark between Crumpler and Vick that was so successful in the first part of this game going again.
Thanks, Pam. 2nd down and 5. Done again. Lewis on the stop, and a penalty flag comes in.
And a huge one if that's against the Atlanta Falcons, because that would have been a 1st down.
Holding number 63 in the offense. Half the distance to the goal. 2nd down.
Roberto Garza. He was holding Robbins, and he was called for the penalty, and that'll march the ball back inside the 10, just shy of the 9-yard line. It's 2nd down for Atlanta. 2nd and 13. This defense for the Giants playing without Strahan, Washington, Jabril Wilson. Played a good 2nd half. Humanura with a great jump across the line, and that pass is behind the intended receiver. That was Stanley Pritchett. He doesn't have a catch all year, and let's go out for a game break, and James Brown.
Well, Joe, it's been 21 unanswered points that the Eagles have scored against the Redskins in the 2nd half, including 2 touchdown tosses to that guy, Brian Westbrook. 28-6, 5:32 left in regulation. Back to Joe Brown.
And right now the Giants, they've brought pressure on 2nd down and long. We'll see if they're going to do it here. They've been able to force Vick to throw the ball early when they brought it.
Emmons is showing blitz. He backs out, but they do come. It's Allen on the blitz chasing Vick. Back across the middle of the field, incomplete. And a penalty flag at the end of the play. And this could very well be on Emmons on a hit on Vick.
And he's been close all day on drawing a call. He's hit Vick a couple of times earlier in the game out of bounds. And it looks like he gets called here.
Roughing the passer. Hand extended into the face mask. That's a 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Wow. I mean, out of all the plays, you've got a quarterback that's just throwing it wildly down the field. 3rd down and 15, and you hand them a first down.
You can hear the explanation by Jeff Triplett saying hand extended to the face mask. And it didn't look to be too clear on the 2 replays we saw.
You know, I'll tell you, Joe, it doesn't look like much, but the rules are very, very clear. Anytime you get near the helmet and the headgear of a quarterback, they're going to call personal foul, regardless of how significant the hit may be. Clearly, Carlos Emmons, as he was approaching Michael Vick, had his hands in the air and was going to the head right there, and they called it.
And you also have to say that Will Allen had a great opportunity for a safety and allowed Mike Vick to run around him.
So an enormous first down given to the Atlanta Falcons on that penalty by Emmons. The ball squirts out of the hand of Vick and ends up out of bounds. It will stay with the Atlanta Falcons, and we'll see where they mark it.
I gotta tell you, Joe, this is one of the sloppiest games I've seen in a long time.
I don't think they'll give him the forward progress on that fumble, though.
They are marking it back at the 27. And Arthur Blank, who is the owner's CEO of the Atlanta Falcons, frustrated with the way this team has played, especially the offense here in this second half. In the end, it's a gain of 3 on that scramble by Vick. And the Falcons fortunate that ball hopped out of bounds.
Yeah, I mean, really poor play by both teams throughout this game. There's been a number of penalties, a number of mistakes, fumbled balls, dropped balls, just not well played at all.
And this is so significant. Remember, the Giants only have 1 timeout, so they can't afford to allow another first down.
2nd down and 7. Handoff is to Dunn. Warwick Dunn with a big Atlanta first down all the way into Giant territory. 25-yard rush by Warwick Dunn.
And you know, Tim Lewis has done a wonderful job, but right here is where Michael Strahan would be. And you just would not see that kind of hole if Michael Strahan were healthy and playing right there. Teams now attacking the defensive end position for the Giants because they're down to their 3rd and 4th guy.
Well, typically in this situation, the Falcons bring in T.J. Duckett as they have here. Warwick Dunn in on that last play was able to get them to midfield, and a big gain and a big first down.
Again, only 1 timeout remaining for the Giants. Under 3.5 to go as T.J. Duckett gets it to the 45-yard line, a gain of 3, and Michael Vick has his 5th career 100-yard rushing game. He came in as the Atlanta Falcons leading rusher, and he will leave as the Atlanta Falcons leading rusher.
Yeah, and he came into the game as the leading yards per carry, having the biggest yards per carry average in the National Football League, whether you're talking about quarterbacks or running backs. And you know, anytime you put the ball in his hands and give him the ability to run, he can make some things happen, clearly.
And if they win here today, they'll be 11-1 when he rushes for at least 50 yards.
2nd down and 7. Giants need a stop. Dunn tries the left side, and a penalty flag comes in. Thrown by the referee Triplett, and it is a hold.
Holding number 46 for the offense. It's a 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
You know, I'm convinced that if an official wants to call a penalty on every play in an NFL game, they can do it. And Triplett's trying to do that.
Well, on that one, they tried to dive underneath Stanley Pritchett, and as they did that, Pritchett hooked his arm down underneath it and made for the call.
I'm still not convinced that Emmons deserved the flag, which has led to this extra chance for the Falcons, and they may, because the Giants have only the one timeout, run out the clock. Only 2:44 remaining in a 2nd down and 17 after that big holding call on Pritchett. Vick keeps it, throws it out of the reach of Dunn. Now the clock stops with 2:41 remaining, and you're left with 3rd down and 17.
Well, I tell you, the best opportunities the Giants have had to win this game today have been some of the throws of Michael Vick on those bootlegs. That's the 2nd one we've seen that just looked awfully dangerous. Now they've gone back-to-back plays. The holding call stopped the clock. The incomplete pass stopped the clock. So basically, the Falcons are doing for the Giants what they couldn't do themselves, which is call timeout.
And I'd be absolutely surprised if the Atlanta Falcons throw the football here.
See if Vick keeps it. He does. Michael Vick got a big hit, and he's brought down at the Atlanta 49. Brent Alexander with a pop on Vick, and it's time for the Falcons to punt.
Yeah, and so now if you're the Giants, you got to consider calling timeout here. It's going to stop at the 2-minute warning, but you can save some time if you make the timeout call here, burning their last one. I'm not so sure I would let this thing go down to the 2-minute warning. I'd be burning my timeout right now if I was the Giants.
Well, not right now. Not after you let 20 of it go off. I think I let it go. Michael Vick was lucky he held on to that football. He took a shot right in the back. And this game's going to end as it should, with Eli Manning with 2 minutes to go and an opportunity to make his mark in the National Football League.
2 minutes left. Giants about to get it back, trailing by 4 with 1 timeout left. Well, there's 2 minutes left in this game. Atlanta with a 14-10 lead, about to punt. The key play in this 4th quarter, that 3rd and 13 from their 9. The incomplete pass, but a personal foul called on Emmons with 4:55 left. The Falcons picked up 41 yards of field position and used just under 3 minutes off the clock after getting that opportunity on the flag on Carlos Emmons. Moore hangs it high. And it will be out of bounds. We'll see where they mark it. We will take a break. They're putting it right at the 25-yard line. That's where Eli Manning will set up shop. Along with our producer Richie Zients, our director Artie Kempner, Joe Troy and Cris, 1:52 remaining. 4th quarter. The NFL debut as a starter for Eli Manning. Nickname of Easy growing up, and the 23-year-old takes it out of the shotgun. Penalty flag on the play, and the ball is knocked free. The Atlanta Falcons have recovered, but there is a flag down in the middle of the field.
And that really was the first time we've seen that kind of pressure the entire season. But this one's going against the Falcons. They're going to get a defensive hold. It'd still be Giants ball.
Yeah, big break for the Giants because the ball comes out on Eli Manning, but they get the Falcons for illegal contact in the secondary.
Holding number 23 in the defense. That's a 5-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
They get Kevin Mathis.
Yeah, and that's kind of his game. You see him right there within 5 yards, and he's turning them, and it's a good call by the officials. It was holding on Kevin Mathis.
You see Brooking made the hit, knocked the ball out. Brady Smith fell on top. That is the 12th penalty against the Atlanta Falcons. Manning fires. He's got Shockey. Shockey lost yardage after making the catch, went backward, and gets 7.
Yeah, Shockey trying to get out to the sideline and trying to get out of bounds to stop the clock.
Handoff to Tiki Barber. Big gain by Barber, who ends up running into his teammate Ike Hilliard. And the ball will be inside Atlanta territory, marked at the 49. And the Giants will spend their final timeout. And Tiki Barber, who's smacked into the body, I believe, of Ike Hilliard, is injured. We have a new audience that just joined us. And as we look back in this 14-10 game. Michael Vick had a huge first half, including 2 touchdown throws to Algie Crumpler. Eli Manning got his feet underneath him, found Jeremy Shockey in this second half. There's the call on a 3rd and 13 play. The hands were up by Emmons. The opinion of Jeff Triplett to the face and face mask of Michael Vick. And what that did was take precious seconds off the clock for the Giants. They also lost 41 yards on the field. And now the New York Giants, who have no timeouts remaining, trail by 4 with the ball at the Atlanta 49. You look at the numbers in this game summary, and it's the Falcons 7-2 on top of the NFC South against the Giants 5-4. Their first day with Manning as their starting quarterback, right in the thick of the playoff race. Manning has protection, and it's batted down. Rod Coleman knocked it away for Atlanta.
You know, I can't help but think back to the game Green Bay against Philadelphia, that playoff game last year. Ed Donatel was the defensive coordinator, essentially got fired from the Green Bay Packers because he didn't bring pressure in that 4th and 26 situation. They came out on first down, brought pressure, got the turnover, but had the holding call. They haven't brought the pressure since.
He was made to be the biggest scapegoat of the offseason, acting as if that one play determined his job status with the Packers. 2nd down and 10. Manning steps up and fires, incomplete. Shockey, the intended receiver. And it was Keith Brooking defending for the Falcons. That makes it 3rd and 10.
Good job by Keith Brooking covering Jeremy Shockey. Jeremy trying to run this just down the field, turn around, give his numbers to Eli Manning, give him a big target. The ball's not right on his chest. It's away from him, and that's what gave the opening for Keith Brooking to knock the ball down.
If that ball's low and away, it's an easy completion for Jeremy Shockey.
Third down and 10. Manning fires. The pass complete. It's obviously 4 down time, and it's Hilliard on the reception.
But he can't clock the ball here, Joe, because it is 4th down. He has to call it here at the line of scrimmage, and he's got to call something that'll get him a first down.
Might be a run to take.
Manning fires. It's incomplete. The Falcons will take over. And the Atlanta Falcons, as Brooking makes the play, will move to 8-2.
Keith Brooking absolutely set up Eli Manning on that one. He knew exactly what Manning was going to do. He allowed him to think that Shockey was open on the play, was just playing possum behind him. And as soon as he wound up, you're going to see him break right in front of Jeremy Shockey. He sees this all the way, no problem at all. An outstanding play on back-to-back coverages by Keith Brooking.
Well, and on 4th and 4, I mean, he knew that they were going to try to get to the chains, turn around and get the ball. He never got even into a back pedal as a result of it. He knew they were going to try to go to Shockey. He sits on the route and makes the play. Not having the timeout kept them from being able to huddle up and then make a good call on 4th down.
The Giants will be losers in 4 of their last 5, and the Atlanta Falcons on top in the NFC South. With all the talk about Eli Manning and his debut as a starter, come to Giants Stadium and move their record to 8-2.
And it's really just been a magical season for the Atlanta Falcons. They keep finding ways to win, and congratulations to Jim Mora in his first year as a head coach. Has pushed all the right buttons. He says this is a high character team. I got rid of all the bad guys, and we are winning with great people on this team.
Jim Mora, with that victory now, has more wins in his first year as head coach of the Falcons, more than any other in the history of the Falcons, which dates back to 1966. In the meeting in the middle of the field between Michael Vick and Eli Manning. And we'll go down to Pam Oliver with Michael Vick.
Yeah, we're here with the winning quarterback for this game. I know you had a couple of words for Eli. What were they?
Oh, I just told him, good luck throughout the rest of the season. And, it's going to be games like this. And this is only his first start. And I'm pretty sure about watching him, throughout the game, he's going to get better. He's going to be just like his brother.
I know there was your first half was great, but the second half wasn't anything to write home about. Tell me about what you guys need to do ultimately to, finish things out a little bit.
We just need to clean up our penalties. We made too too many mistakes, you know, up front, you know, and creating penalties. And, you know, it all starts with me as a quarterback. And, you know, we just got to clean it up and correct that. And, you know, going down the stretch is very important.
8-2. How good is this team?
We're a very good football team, and it starts with our defensive front. You know, those guys give us opportunities to make plays on the offensive side of the ball, and we take advantage of it. So if we get off to a great start and get going early, then we'll have success in going down the stretch.
Michael Vick, congratulations. Back up to Joe.
All right, Pam, thank you, and our thanks to Michael Vick for stopping by. At the end of the day, 12 for 20, 115 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns, 104 yards on the ground. We'll come back and wrap up this day of football at Giant Stadium right after these messages. The Falcons are now 8-2.